Hello, here we are today with a gentleman all the way from LA. That's Los Angeles, by the way. Chris Dyson, welcome along. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to be talking all things California. We're going to be comparing the California market to the Marbella market in terms of property, in terms of lifestyle, in terms of what the heck you're doing out there, and more importantly, what the heck you're doing here. And then we're going to talk about something very important and very close to your heart, which is the MLS, which is your latest business venture, which sounds incredibly exciting. But first, a little bit of context. Tell us about you, because you are from this parish, aren't you, really, in a previous life?
I certainly am. And first off, thank you very much for having me on the show.
On the show? Sure. Is this a show now?
Well, I've got to tell you, I obviously follow everything down here, and I think your content's great. So I feel honoured to be here.
I bet he says that to all the girls.
I do. No, I think you do a great job. I thoroughly enjoy watching your stuff, and so I'm delighted to be here today. So thanks for having me.
No problem.
And so I actually lived here in a. It feels like yesterday, but it was 20 years ago. And
it's making me feel old now.
I know it flies. So from 2000 to 2006, I spent here. I had the most amazing time. Worked in real estate the whole time to a pretty decent standard, I hope.
Because you were one of the Ocean boys, weren't you?
I was.
Because I was one of the Viva boys. So Chris and I kind of were here the same. Because I came here 2001. Yeah. So our times would have overlapped. And I knew of you. Yeah. But obviously we were on different sides of the fence.
Never the twain really met, did they? We stayed very much in our lanes back then, I remember. It was
quite competitive, wasn't it? Because it was really those two plus
into realty a little bit, and then Andalusian Tree Mums came along.
Oh, David Hanneman,
He did. And they were halcyon days. I loved the competition. It was very healthy, I thought. I think we all did well. And when I look back with absolute,
thinking, bring those times again.
I mean, it was a great time. It was
good fun. It was a really exhibitions all over the place, and
it was a wonderful market. And but honestly, so I think from 2001, 2, 3, it was extremely exciting and compelling. And then I think it started, certainly how I felt, 2004 and 5. You could see it starting to get a bit toppy. Yeah. And it was at that point I got offered a position in Coldwell Banker in Beverly Hills.
And you don't say no to that, do you? In Beverly Hills?
No, I don't. You don't. So I didn't. Yeah. So I went. And I mean, God, I could use the whole podcast to talk about what happened next. But in essence, I've been in Los Angeles for the last 20 years, almost to the day, and thank God I've worked at the sharp end of probably the most competitive and compelling market ever, I would say, over there.
And you're married, you've settled down, you've got a family.
I have, very lucky.
Wow, so it's...
12 years, that's like 70 years in LA years.
God.
Probably the same in Marbella years.
So tell us about LA, because a lot of our American clients say to us, they come over here and they say, hey, I'm not going to do the accent. They say, this is just like Southern California. They say there are a lot of similarities. Yeah. They say there are certain differences as well. But what do you think? Because you've obviously lived both sides of it. So are there similarities? Is this the California of Europe?
I think the first similarity is the weather. The weather's very, very similar. Okay. California's got a very similar climate, and I think Marbella is probably slightly warmer, honestly, having lived in the two. Okay. But climate's the first one. It's a similar surroundings, mountains in the background. I would say the easiest way, LA's like Marbella on steroids. It's like 100 of them. It's as simple as that. LA's very exciting. I'm a very proud American as well, I will say. I have, an English, Irish, and American passport, like Jason Bourne.
That's being greedy.
I know. But I'm a very proud American, and as well as a very proud Brit as well, obviously. So, but LA's been very good to me. Yeah. LA has been very good to me, as I say. I met my wife, my kids, and...
Never mind.
Yeah. Get less for... No, I'm not going to say that. And I've been able to build a really, really compelling business out there as well, and met some amazing people. And I think that's what's similar with the two, is that they attract a certain... If you're living here, it's usually people looking for a better life and and they're motivated, they're excited, and whether they succeed or not, they're here to try and do something about it. And I like being surrounded by people like that. And that's very much the case in Los Angeles, for good or bad. Just again, because of the demographics here in terms of wealth, as much as, for want of a better word, you're surrounded by people that can move the needle. You know, you've got exposure. If you've got something about you, you can be amongst, like, when I think back to some of the things that literally changed my life and the trajectory of it, it was being in the presence of people that could do something about it, and then
I think also you can reinvent yourself in these places, can't you?
Yeah.
I know certainly with Marbella, a lot of people have come here and no one really kind of asks about your past. It's kind of assumed that you're here because for whatever reason, but you don't have to be on this career path that you might have to be in the UK. Here you can step off it and open an ice cream van. You know, it's kind of like no one's going to ask any questions.
Yeah, I mean, look, the American dream is a real thing, you know,
right.
and that's, you know, just the sheer scale of America, and especially Los Angeles. Say you can be around, you know, just amazing people, and it's hard. Don't get me wrong. Like trying to break into the luxury real estate market, which I did.
Is it cutthroat?
As cutthroat as it gets.
Really?
I mean, the stakes are high. You know, you've seen all the commissions plastered on the screens on $1 Million Listing and everything else. You know, that's real world stuff. And so it's very aggressive. But if you can apply something that way, it's doable.
But you've been there a long time. So you've obviously played it right. You obviously know the right people.
Yes.
But you've obviously done so well that you're now a successful realtor and branching off into different things. So what is it that's made you a success, would you say? Go on, blow your own trumpet.
Oh, well, I think...
Is it the accent?
The accent doesn't hurt, but candidly, people don't spend $10 million if you've got an English accent. It doesn't, you know, if you don't know what you're talking about, it doesn't matter what your accent is. And so, look, I think product knowledge, authenticity, ethical, you know, integrity, and, you know, having the right network. You know, it is all about the people that you know, and then being able to do the right things and adding value, you know, is super important in terms of knowing no one's going to use you unless you can tell them something that they don't know. And so being able to add value to the process and be viewed as an advisor and a partner, whether you're partnering with the buyer or the seller, I think is a really important concept.
And you know a lot of important, influential people. You know, you've told me off air that you know, there's a few well-known people that you know, which I guess you do in LA, because I guess you bump into these guys in...
You do. It's not, and I'm not going to mention any names, but yeah, I mean, I've been very, very fortunate to represent some of the most significant people, you know, anywhere. And that didn't happen by accident. It didn't happen overnight. And you've got to do the right things and not just say the right things, act the right things. Yeah. And again, be able to add value and gain those people's trust. And if you do that, they'll tell other people that you do it as well. And that's the whole key.
In terms of the differences between the property markets, obviously there are similarities geographically and the kind of feel of it. That's great what you said about, you know, LA being Marbella kind of
just steroids.
Yeah, on steroids. But in terms of the property markets, are there similarities or are there distinct differences?
I think very similar. It's funny, like watching Marbella's journey probably over the last 7-8 years, it almost feels in part that it's dovetailing the LA market. It's almost like the developers, agents have seen, you know, best practices, new developments there, and then brought that over here. I know some of the architects from over there are exploring opportunities, you know, on this side of the world. And so there are definitely similarities in that way. I think Marbella, watching it grow both from infrastructure-wise, the commercial expansion, and, you know, the brands that are coming down here, both the restaurant brands, the branded residences, all that sort of thing, I think is only positive. And it really has become a much more compelling place, I think, all year round, which maybe it wasn't when I was here. In the same way.
Yeah. What sort of clients do you get over there in terms of buyers? We'll talk about vendors in a minute, because I know it's very much a, you know, who's got the listing has the market. That's kind correct. Of thing. But yeah. In terms of buyers, who is it a local market in LA? Because here, obviously, it's diverse. You know, we've got buyers from so many different nationalities, and so there's lots of little micro markets going on. But in LA, I'm guessing it's more of a local market, but still a little bit outside.
Yeah. It's very much it's a residential, you know, local market.
So people know the street they want to be on and stuff like that.
Yeah. And it's I've obviously, look, I became sort of one of the English guys when the guys from England were coming over. I would thankfully look after them. And so there was some guys that I've thankfully got clients that do have like holiday homes in Beverly Hills, which which is quite a thing to be able to do. And I have to say that's a really rewarding thing, like to be able to be in the universe of these guys and just watch how they go about their business and see what those lifestyles look like has been that's one of the most interesting things, I would say, sure.
And I guess those types of clients, they ultimately want discretion, don't they? They want you to be there for them, but also to keep your mouth shut and get on with the job, yeah?
I think that discretion is certainly an important issue. It's a hot topic in the US. Probably haven't got time to go into that right now, but the idea of off-market private sales is something that's very close to my heart, and we're actually, we're involved in a pretty significant lawsuit with our National Association of Realtors at the moment because of the, we believe, significant antitrust violations that affect our business, which I won't bore you with the details. Which goes to say, like, look, I think, segueing into America, America's not perfect, obviously, but I do think there's a lot you can learn from how they're going about their business and leave the bad stuff, maybe introduce some more good things and learn from the good stuff.
Interesting. And in terms of being a realtor, is that the word?
It is.
Being a realtor in California and in LA and in Beverly Hills in particular, how does that differ from the rough and ready old days in Marbella, doing flybys and airport pickups and God knows what? I mean, is it that, could I, for instance, go over to LA and become a realtor, and would I be okay? Would I just flounder? What is it about the two that, what are the differences really?
Well, the big difference is it's heavily regulated.
Okay.
That's the number one.
Oh, I'd be out then.
Well, you can do that. That's the whole thing. Like, the market decides if you get your license, then you can become a realtor and then you can open doors. But without it, you can't open a door. Right. You can't talk about real estate. It's a violation.
But does the regulation, does that stop the idiots taking part, or do you still get well-qualified idiots?
I think there's varying, there's different levels of competence in any capacity, but certainly I think the biggest difference is because of the regulation, agents in the US are viewed much more as in an advisor capacity, like more like an attorney rather than a salesperson. You're much more credible. We're held to a very high ethical standard. If you let your client down, you can lose your license, then you can't feed your kids. Like, there's a lot of teeth, there's a lot of jeopardy to effing up. And so that's the big thing that I hear it, but obviously I'm meeting with everybody down here, and everybody says the same thing. And I'm like, well, the powers that be really need to introduce some infrastructure with teeth so that there's jeopardy if you mess up. And I think that's the biggest difference between the two areas.
In terms of people you've worked for some pretty heavy hitters, haven't you? And any spring to mind as because we've all seen the TV programs. There must be one or two that you think, yeah, they're the best, or one of the best I've worked with.
Look, that's a difficult question because
spill the beans.
I'd make a point of never mentioning names, but
what about your man Mauricio?
Well, Mauricio, that's different. I mean, Mo is my business partner. Right. Mauricio Umansky, look, he's
been on the TV recently, hasn't he? With the company that he has in the States.
That's correct.
And he comes across as this larger than life character, and he married somebody who was very well known, I think. And so he's become this kind of TV persona really as well, hasn't he? But he's good at what he does.
Let me tell you this. Before Mo was even on any TV shows, he was one of the best real estate agents on the planet. Right. And I mean that. That's not hyperbole. He sold more properties over $20 million than anyone else in the world.
And what makes someone amazing at this job? Is it a mixture of things like contacts, what you know?
It's expertise, it's network, and it's execution. It's those three things. And Mo's network is about as compelling as anybody on the planet.
Would we all like his little black book?
Mo's little black book is as good as it gets. It really is. And so, he's an incredible friend. He's an incredible agent. Like, that's the first. What I think makes Mo a compelling guy, as much as anything else, is he's done this job to the highest standard possible, and so he brings an incredible amount of expertise in terms of the role, and also the business that he's grown as well is one of the most amazing, brokerage infrastructures in the world as well. So he's just a really good guy.
You know the properties over there. I would imagine because of what we've heard about Beverly Hills, that we imagine that every sale, every transaction is some multi-million-dollar house. Is that the case, or do you do the odd $250,000 condo?
I've done everything from $275,000.
Is that your lowest? Is that as low as
the lowest? That is it's the lowest that you can go, and that was 15 years ago. I was a one-bedroom in West Hollywood, and I've represented up to 75 million. So, yeah.
Wowzers! What? Just tell us, what sort of house was that? I mean, what do you get for 75 million?
You get 14 acres. 3 acres flat, 25, what would it be meters? 25,000 square feet inside, views of the city, as good as it gets.
Wow, was it absolutely like pinch yourself though?
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. You know, you see some of the best houses in the world. Do
I get a bit like that? You know, when I pop up to Zagaleta or Sierra Blanca, and you're in like probably a 10 or 20 or 30 million euro thing, and you're kind of waltzing around and chin-chinning it with other agents, and then you stop and you think, wow, I'm in some of the most expensive real estate in the world here. And you just take that moment, don't you, and go, ooh.
Yeah,
it's quite something, isn't it?
I definitely take a moment to go, wow, that's a lot of zeros. And, you know, you kind of get blasé talking about it sometimes. You go, well, you're right. How do you get that in, you know, to achieve the position to be able to do that is an impressive thing to do. So, but yeah, the real estate porn, as we call it, is definitely a big perk.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
In terms of you being here, sat on my couch, why? Why are you here? What are you doing back in Marbella when you've got this amazing lifestyle in California? You're selling multi-million euro or multi-million dollar listings.
And euros.
So what are you doing here?
So I built a business in the US called the MLS.com, which was it's called the National Listing Service. Mm-hmm. And we built it to compete with the US MLSs. I mean, the US has issues that or problems that need solving that we won't get into now. That is why we built, basically to give agents control of their information. And when I came to Spain a couple of years ago, I almost said in passing to a friend of mine, Tom Harper, and I was like, so have you guys got an MLS yet? Because when we were here, there was no such thing.
No.
Although you guys tried to make one, I believe. The Viva guys. Anyway, and I was like, so have you guys got an MLS yet? He's like, well, kind of. You know, we've got to go on this one over here and then on that one over there. And then when you get there, you don't have access to everything. You've got to see which agent's paying what commission to see who's actually the principal broker. And I was like, hang on, what are you talking about? Like, how does that work? And then I started looking at the portals and like where the buyers go to shop. And I was just floored by the lack of regulation and, you know, the duplication, you know, the confusion that causes with buyers, you know, how the seller's story is compromised. You know, it's important what an agent says on the seller's behalf. It's important what the first picture is. It's important what the branding is associated with that listing and what stands behind that.
Yeah.
It's important for you as the agent who's got, you know, spent the money, paid for the photographs, has got the agreement, and that's your inventory, and someone else just takes it. And the buyers that are associated with that are worth tens, if not hundreds of thousands of euros. And I think that's a problem. So I want to fix it.
Enough of a problem to drag you all the way over the Atlantic to come and help us unregulated cowboys in Marbella.
I mean, yes, exactly. Well, look, the one thing I will say is there's a lot of agents here like yourself and like the organizations that you're associated with that want to do the right thing. So, you know, when I've come down here with hopefully this solution, I've been welcomed with open arms, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, it's a problem that's very close to my heart. I went back to Mauricio and said, right, everybody freeze. We need to adapt this for Spain. What we've built, they need. And so we've been doing that. And there are very material differences between how you guys do business here, which I'm acutely aware of. So it's a bit of push and pull in terms of what I'd love you to do and what you want to do.
Because I guess the main difference is in the States, you list with one agent, don't you? So if you're a property owner, I'll give it to Chris Dyson. Off you go, Chris. You go and market my property and let me know when a deal's coming. Here in Spain, I could list it with you. I could list it with Darren. I could list it with 15 different agents. And I guess that in itself causes massive problems. So are we trying to educate? Are we trying to re-educate people?
There's two sides to that, very distinct sides. And there's what the seller wants and what the agents here are able to deliver in terms of servicing that seller's needs. Now, I believe that sellers give it to X, Y, and Z because they're trying to get exposure.
Yep.
And they don't want to miss any buyers. What I don't think the sellers realize is what they're actually doing is they're pitting now 4 or 5 different agents against each other. What the agent should be doing is they should be the partner with the seller. And like, I'm here to get you the best terms. I'm here to be, and I'm going to invest in the process. We're going to give you the best marketing. I'm going to spend on the Google ads. I'm going to spend on the drone tour. I'm going to do all those things and make you look as good as possible in this market and tell that story. The problem is when you give it to 4 different agents, now no one wants to spend the money because they're not guaranteed they're going to get paid. So you get 4 guys doing a half-cocked job. Second of all, does any of those 4 guys care about getting that seller the best terms or just selling it before the other guy does? So now you've got 4 guys that are fighting with your seller. And, you know, like, again, the big picture with the platform is that we provide a portal space where the buyers get such a compelling user experience that that's where they go to shop. And then you can say to your sellers, we've got all the exposure in the world because this is where they go. And let me do my job, which is representing you.
Just to come on to that point about representing the vendor.
Yeah.
As you know, I mean, certainly in the UK, most agents represent buyer and seller. They just happen to have the property in their high street window or on their website, and then the buyer comes along and says, I want to see that house in that street, and then you take the buyer to meet your vendor. And does that happen in LA? Do you represent both ends of the transaction?
So again, it's a really good point. And they make a very clear, we do have dual agency where you can represent both, but it's heavily regulated and scrutinized. In America, we believe that if you represent the seller, your job is to represent him in his best interest. If you represent the buyer, your job is to represent his best interest. And they conflict.
Absolutely.
You know,
and I've had conversations with agents here about that because I believe there is a conflict. Because I don't think you can get the deal for that person as well as getting the deal for that person that they're both happy with. Or certainly,
it's a dance, and it's tough. And most of the time, it doesn't happen.
It's interesting because the American clients that we get, if we show them a property, they'll say to us very quickly, they'll say, do you represent the vendor as well? And we're like, no, that's somebody else's listing. Oh, good. Because if you do, I'm not interested.
Well, it's illegal in some states in the US.
Okay.
And I will say this, Joe, just to go back to the portals, which is a really important point, is American buyers especially, and that's something that we can deliver in a very compelling way. Like, because of our network in the US, that's something that we can deliver and allow agents to tap into a network that they could never do with the portals down here. Now, those buyers, though, are very conditioned and have very distinct expectations about the accuracy and regulation on those portals. What they have in the US is very accurate and representative of the market. So when they come here and they expect the same thing and they don't get it, it hurts you. I've heard horror stories from agents that have been hurt because the portal didn't do its job. And that's the biggest issue. Not through your fault. It's cost you your livelihood because a portal had their business model is about quantity, not quality.
Absolutely. So is your mission then to create, and I think I know the answer to this, is it to create something that the agents can share in terms of it increasing the use of best practice, or is it a portal that's going to attract buyers, or is it both?
It's both. It's both. I mean, again, look, I've been exposed and around and used, what are probably considered best practices, both in brokerage agency and the portal world. And they're not perfect, as I say, hence us suing about it. So, but there's definitely things you can take and there's things that you can add that they don't do. And that's what we've done. Like, we've tried to create tools for agents that are going to add value, make them more profitable, make them more efficient. The WhatsApp groups that you guys have to deal with, I've got this buyer or I've got this property or this is coming soon. To consolidate that in a place where you can search for it when you need it. And not only that, but then it gives you information that your clients don't have. That's really important. Like, giving you guys a reason to be and giving you, like I said to you right at the start, being able to tell a client something that they don't know means they need you. So giving you that information is really important.
How do you get all these lazy, greedy Costa del Sol realtors on your platform? Because I would imagine a lot of people would say, we're fine with the mess we're in. It's a mess we understand. And the systems, they're a bit clunky. In some cases, a lot of very clunky. But we kind of get by. And we have the odd disagreement, but hey-ho.
Do you know, it's a really good point, Sean. And super candidly, this only works if people want it to work. We've built the solution and it's working. And agents are on there. Thank God we've got including yourselves, the leading agents down here are members, and they've welcomed it with open arms. It is a portal for all agents. We want agents to be able to connect. We do think there's value in the network, but we also think that nefarious bad actors shouldn't be allowed to take value, just add value. So that's what our portal will do.
And long-term plans, take over the world?
Not the world, just Spain will do. No, I think Spain's a bit. Look, I love Spain. Spain, it feels like obviously it was home, so coming back here is very easy for me. I still know a lot of people here. Look, if we just fix the Marbella market, that would be something. Let's start there.
Because they are different markets, aren't they? Like we have a little operation in the Costa Blanca.
Yeah.
That is the Wild West compared to here. It's bizarre. The agents don't even speak.
Well, again, a lot of it's going to be education. A lot of it will be whether the agents want it. And I'm acutely aware that, who's this American guy coming down telling us this, that, and the other. I know that I'm going to get that. And I'm sensitive to that. But I do think there's value in being able to connect you with the Costa Blanca and with Mallorca and with Madrid, and then let our American agents connect with you guys and bring you buyers from over there. And I think there's tremendous value in the agent network, and just making sure that we're only adding value in internally within that network, and not letting bad practices prevail.
And how will you keep out the idiots?
You see, I don't think it's my job necessarily to keep out the idiots. I think it's my job to police them in terms of the portal. Yeah. You see, I think I'm a free market guy, Sean. So I think, if you're an agent, take pictures on your phone and you've got a crappy website, the market's going to dictate whether you succeed or not. Yeah. I don't need to do that. What I need to do is make sure that they don't take away from you. And that's not happening right now on the portals. So, I think the free market will, the cream will rise, and that's how I see that. So,
a couple of questions to finish off.
Yeah.
First one, why are more and more Americans buying here on the Costa del Sol?
Well, I think...
Is it all Trump's fault?
No, it's not. And I'm not going to get drawn into that conversation.
Don't get into that.
I think that Europe is always... There's something very romantic about Europe to America.
Because I guess a lot of Americans have some European heritage, don't they? Particularly Spanish.
For sure, yeah, for sure. And, I think, as I say, it's a very romantic place. The culture and the traditions here are very compelling. When I lived, obviously, half my life I was on this side of the world, and you take it for granted. And it's only when you go away for a period of time, you come back and go, wow, actually, that's super cool, that city, and, that food. And you go... So it's just a very compelling place, and this, Marbella in particular, as I say, they get the same standard of restaurants and maybe better. Yeah, and it's accessible.
Is it being marketed over there? I mean, are people that you meet in LA, are they aware of Marbella?
I can tell you that I hear more American accents every time I come down here.
Yeah, true.
I think, American buyers, the reason they're important, they're growing year on year. I think 300% in the last 5 years, 57% year on year, first quarter last year to this quarter.
Oh, you swallowed a stats book.
I did a bit, yeah. But it's important. It's our market. Yeah. So, and maybe most importantly, they spend more when they get here than anybody else. Yeah. So, being able to deliver that in some capacity, I think, is important. But it's not rocket science. It's a great place.
A lot of our American clients, they mention a couple of reasons why they're here. The fact that it reminds them of certain aspects of California, but also the reason they're looking to maybe make the move is they don't like the politics. Yep. And also they are worried about the safety of their kids when they go to school, and there's an armed guard outside, and you think every day you're kind of letting them loose thinking what's going to happen to them today. They're the reasons we get, and also it's cheaper.
I mean, so they're all very valid points, and some that are very close to my heart, obviously, with kids. And that's something that you do live with or not, and decide to move. I think, even though you probably think Marbella is expensive, it's still value. It still looks like value against the price. I think that's a big thing. And
they do say that. The American clients we get do say, certainly things like fees and cost of living, it's cheaper.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly value. I think that the home prices, obviously, I think, but the cost of living in LA is up there, with any place. But I think I love Los Angeles. It's been very good to me. I have a very strong, obviously, affinity and love for the place. But It's expensive. I think there's a feeling certainly now where maybe it's not the same value that it used to be. The homeless thing is a thing. Prices are a thing. Taxes are a thing. Property taxes, which you don't mind paying if you're getting the value back.
Yeah.
And I think there's maybe there's a question about that at the moment. Politics is obvious, whichever side you're on. And yeah, the gun law thing is, I wish that was different. It's one of the things in English that I've never understood. And I hope it does change, but I don't think it will.
No. Last question.
Yeah.
The next 10, 20 years, where do you see yourself being? Are you committed to LA, or do you fancy a decade in Spain again?
Oh goodness, that's a good question.
Could you drag the kids over?
I would love to drag the kids over.
Oh, would you?
I would, yeah.
What about the wife?
Would. I think she would love it.
Oh,
I do.
Okay. I wasn't expecting you to say this.
I think the lifestyle that Marbella affords, especially, as you middle-aged, I think is really exciting, honestly, and really compelling. I use that word a lot, but it is.
Is that because LA is just too crazy that you're almost like Marbella? Because you mentioned it earlier, LA's like Marbella on steroids. Is it time to just calm down a little bit?
Yeah.
I guess Marbella would be the perfect antidote to LA.
Look, I like being busy. I do. When I'm not busy, I get anxious. So I do like that. But but living here myself and being exposed to different cultures, I think is a wonderful thing that I'd love the kids to be able to at least access in some capacity, whether it's full time.
Don't you get that in LA? Don't you get the cultural thing?
You do, but it's America, which is still great. But having access to just different cultures of Europe and having that on your doorstep, it's difficult to come here from there.
2 hours to Rome, 2 hours to London. It's all there, isn't it?
That's ace. Yeah, it is. And so
when are you moving?
When all you join the fat club, I'll come.
Yeah,
There you go.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah. No, good. Listen, thank you so much for being here. It's been an absolute pleasure. Best of luck with the NLS. We are certainly happy to be members, and we'll do our bit to move that along.
Love that.
But great to see you. Hopefully, we'll see you again very soon down here in sunny Spain. Great guy. Until then, the next time, we will see you soon. Take care.
Thanks, Sean.